Good morning and welcome to this edition of Everything Korea. I'm moving from caffeine over to tea now this time of the day, so I'll be sipping my tea as we move forward. Just to sort of jump into things like we do every week, this week my thoughts turn to discussing some reasons why Korean businesses do well outside Korea and why others struggle. So I'm going to give you sort of a contrast there. A caveat of this is tied to last week's discussion, and in that episode I shared where many Korean entrepreneurs have continued to launch some amazing new startup concepts, but few ever gain the stellar funding and successes achieved by similar startups in the US, for example in the past or now with concepts today like Periscope and Meerkat and even my favorite, Super.me. Frankly, why things work in Korea and may not work outside Korea, and with regard to the startup model, even work inside Korea, there's some dynamics there. Some things go well globally, and whether it's for a global brand or even a Korean brand, I think we all know that as you move into a respective country or a market, you need to make some, if not substantial, localization changes. And localization, I always find, is one of those catchphrases that everyone agrees to. Everyone says, yeah, we need to localize, but few truly embrace. In particular, I see with Korean brands looking outside Korea, too often the same missteps occur. In my recent case study called A Global Approach for Korean Management Teams, I address many of these challenges. See the link embedded in this copy to get yourself a copy of that PDF study. So what are some steps, in my opinion, for one, Korean brands already having a global footprint, or two, brands that wish to expand outside Korea, or three, domestic Korean startups all need to consider and take into consideration? I'll talk more about this in future episodes, but for a first step, I always like to think that you need to embrace and immerse in the local culture, the market norms, and the success models that work in that country or area. So what is a poor idea is for an overseas team from Korea modeling the practices that they follow in their Korean operations. This I know can be difficult, and I deal with it constantly, and I work with teams myself over the years, and I understand the frustrations and some of the challenges, but most of the foreign teams that are dispatched, their challenges are really they have limited transition support. In other words, they're sent overseas, but there's really limited support from the company to make transition. Another is really, what I think probably the most important, is many of the teams that are dispatched overseas, or even teams inside Korea that are trying to be more global, are trying to sort of break out of some of the traditional norms there. They're subjected to peer pressure and by their peers and by their seniors to limit the embracing of these either local norms if they're working overseas or even the more global norms if they're in Korea. And so there's pressure put on them that, hey, this is the way we do it here. We're not going to make that change. We're not going to embrace that. And this is really a true concern I have. Again, in the next episode, I'm going to drill deeper. I'm going to look at some of the core causes for this disconnect. Okay, and one more thing. Those struggling with some of the challenge I've mentioned, whether in Korea or globally or here in the US, or have issues within your organizations that need to be immediately addressed, I've blocked out some availability to chat and discuss. Now you need to go to this website, and you have it embedded in here, but I'll go over it right now. meetme.so/Southerton. Again, it's embedded in here. That will give you access to my schedule. You can go in there and block out a time. We can set it up for a chat, whether it's going to be by phone or Skype or by some other sort of go-to-meeting or something. So until next time, this is Don Southerton wishing you all the best. We've got some other sites embedded in here that you can go and look at. One will be sort of for the case study, the other for checking out what I think is my favorite app right now called Super.me. So again, Don Southerton saying all the best. Have a great week. We'll talk soon. Take care.